Hello guys, today we're here at Camo with Danny from 612 Autoworx and a full carbon fiber Ford with a mid-engine setup in the rear. Now Danny, tell us a little bit about yourself, the company, and then what it is we're looking at here.
Yeah, so a little bit about myself. I own 612 Autoworx. We specialize in a little bit of everything, mostly everything that I kind of like. We do a little bit of. We do a lot of or a little bit of kind of full custom builds like this, like SEMA style stuff. We also do a bit of Mopar stuff. We do a 69 Charger body conversion on newer Hellcats, as well as a 71 CUDA body conversion on newer Hellcats. So we do a bit of that. And then other than that, I do a lot of like diesel truck stuff. We just started cracking into German car stuff because I bought a BMW randomly.
Just depends on wherever your interest is.
It's really wherever my little heart wants to go at that day. So we try to dabble in a little bit of everything. I worked on my first JDM car this past summer too. So we do a little bit of that as well.
Where are you guys located at?
Nanuet, New York.
Perfect.
Just outside of the city.
So what is it that we're looking behind us here? Obviously, this is a very unique finish. It's carbon fiber, but then it even has a very unique carbon fiber finish, right?
Yes. So I'll give a plug to the guys who did the body, Brothers Composite. They, one of the owners wanted to do this truck for himself. It was a kind of like a passion project. They did the molds of the body, normal 2x2 twill carbon. So basically, we saw the Camo weave here last year, and I reached out and I was like, hey, do you think you could do that on one of those F100 bodies that you're doing? And they said absolutely. So they knocked us one of those out, and we put our own little spin on it because we didn't want to be a full copy of what they're doing. So we made a bunch of carbon parts on our own, or for our own build, separate from the other ones, because anyone can buy one of these bodies in traditional carbon. So we added the wide body kit. We added all the pieces on the nose, like the headlight doors and grille and bumper. Yeah, we just tried to make it our own.
Okay, so we mentioned earlier that there's no longer an engine in the front of this truck. So what do you actually have in the front? Is it a trunk now, or what are we looking at?
That's where I like to tell everyone I keep my golf clubs, but I don't golf. But no, so we keep, I can show you, we did fuel tank up front, rad and condenser. The roll bar takes up a bit of space up here.
Okay.
And also kind of, it looks like there's not a lot of room up here. Everything's kind of jammed in there. One of the reasons is, if you notice, we cut the firewall and we stretched the firewall out because these cabs, and I'm not really a tall guy, but I'm like, regular size, but I don't really love how tight older trucks are. And I like a roomy ride. So we stretched the firewall out, moved the clutch pedal and moved all the pedals a bit forward, just to give you a little bit more leg room, because you do lose a tiny bit of space with the roll bar being behind the seat. And we did a race seat setup. So I wanted to, keep it a little bit more comfy. You could see like kind of in the corner almost like how close that firewall gets to the wheel. And then you can see kind of the bump out at like the top like of the cowl. And then, so try to use as much of this space as we can. And at first I really thought it was going to be a little bit empty, and I was thinking to myself, what are we going to do up here? And the more stuff we put up here, the more I said, wow, we're just cutting it.
Okay, so taking a look, it looks like you have coilovers on here. What are you actually running suspension wise underneath this?
So I guess I'll talk about the chassis first before I get to the suspension. It's a full custom aluminum chassis that we built in-house.
Okay.
And then for suspension, it's all C6 Corvette stuff. So we did a front and rear cross member out of a C6 Corvette, welded right onto our aluminum chassis. So upper, lower arms, knuckles, everything besides the struts are straight out of an OEM C6 Corvette. The struts are coilovers from QA1. Yeah, you can see everything like that right now. We do have some like inner fender wells, also carbon, that I left at home because we kind of just, that was one of those things that got to the end and it was like, what's most important? And
that crunch time.
Yeah, that didn't make the cut of what's important, because I basically said I'm going to keep the hood closed the whole show. So
sorry to break that on the first day of SEMA.
I opened it 200 times yesterday because every time someone asks, I'm like, oh, let me show you. Even though I said I'm just going to keep it closed. But
yeah, I mean, people are going to have questions. But obviously you said you didn't change it a whole lot from the C6, but you really don't have to, right? Because C6 Corvette
C6
performance
is awesome.
out of the box, right?
Dude, everything stock. Besides, like I said, besides those the coilovers and the outer tie rods. Because we did use the Mustang steering rack, but we did use the C6 Corvette knuckles because well, I guess we'll wait till we get to the back and I'll tell you about the Mustang stuff.
Yeah, so let's start moving down the side of the vehicle so we can check out some more of the carbon fiber. We can take a look at the wheels, brakes, etc. Even those fender flares and everything that you added, because these were mostly what you said was different as far as the body's
correct.
concerned, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So obviously the C6 Corvette suspension bumps everything out a little bit, so it gives you less room for a wheel. And being that I'm more of a truck guy as well, I'm like a big wheel kind of guy. I want to stuff as much wheel as I can in there, and it just wasn't going to work out with the stock body and the C6 suspension. You just didn't have the room. So obviously the wide body is for looks, but it also comes with a lot of function to be able to fit. That's a 22 by 12 inch front rim, and we got a 22 by 14 inch rear rim.
Wow.
So JTX hooked us up with some nice polished deep dish 2-piece weld wheels. And
I mean, that's got to be more than a C6 has factory in the rear. I would think what you have in the front.
We were running stock C7 wheels on it as like our roller and everything. And dude, they fit super sick on the narrow body before we cut everything.
Right.
But they were very, very small. Like these are overall height. These are, I think, 30 inches tall. And I think the Corvette wheels were like 27 and a half.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
And what do you have on there disc brake wise? Looks like some drilled and ventilated discs.
Yeah. We did a bare brake setup.
Okay.
Let me fix my floater for you. Get stuck a little bit sometimes. But we did a full 6-piston all around bare brakes. We had those sitting on the shelf from an older build that they came off of. And they basically bolted right up once we got the brackets. We just ordered the proper brackets for the C6. And then they went right on. I finished them off. So the truck is candy teal. Ironically enough, if you see the brakes are raw billet with the same candy teal that's over the carbon is actually on the brakes. Obviously it looks different because of what the base color is, but yeah, that's a little kind of neat little trinket of little nugget of knowledge.
All right, so let's continue moving down the truck. Let's talk about mirrors, doors. I mean, even the door handles, everything's been changed, right?
Yeah, mirrors are 3D printed. The housings are flipped sideways, but basically kind of a bit of a kind of like like a remake kind of copy of a stock Mustang mirror, but just a little bit smaller. And then obviously we did like a custom two-piece stem, which is kind of like a little bit of like a Euro thing, I think. And we wanted, I mean, the truck is kind of supposed to have a little bit of a race vibe, so that's kind of like my buddy who does all the 3D printing for us, who 3D printed those mirrors, that was his design, and he based it off of one of the older Ferraris. I can't remember which one it was, but that was kind of like his vibe of like, let's keep it like, you know,
it's got kind of a speed form,
F1 style, I guess we're calling it. Yeah. And it's cool because we're in Vegas, and Vegas is basically like all like F1, like, you know, now because of the race last year. So everywhere you go, you see F1. So, you know, I guess we brought a little F1 ourselves.
So let's move to the back, which is maybe even the most polarizing part of this build, right? Like, obviously the carbon fiber body, the sort of camo woven into the carbon fiber is crazy, but then that goes a step up once we get to the back. So what are we looking at here in the back?
Yeah, so like I was just talking about, the F1 kind of theme, the racer style theme we wanted to go with. We wanted to do a sequential transaxle and do like a mid-engine. So being that we did a full custom chassis, and being that this truck is a long bed, and you know, I've built a few long beds, single cab long bed trucks, and I always, you know, you always sit there kicking around how to fill out that bed space because it's the majority of the truck. So it's like, we were like, you know what, let's just stuff a motor back there. You know, it was easier to do it on a setup like this because of the custom chassis and everything. So we're already making everything. So it's like wherever we put the motor mounts that's all up to us basically, because we're starting from scratch. So it's not like we're buying a chassis from, you know, any of these companies and then we have to mock it up.
Right.
We're already there. So it's like, just comes a point of like making sure everything works. So that way, like the transaxle lines up with the rear knuckles and everything. Yeah, we knocked all that out, and yeah, I think it came out pretty cool. We had to we did the normal, we did a custom bed, you know, separate from like what they normally make we used all of their parts, but we had to kind of chop it up. We
Okay.
raised the fender tub, the wheel tubs up a ton to fit those wheels, being how low it is. We also raised the bed floor in the back because the transaxle's underneath there.
Ah, okay.
But we left it low in the front because you got to be able to get to everything on the front of the motor. So when I work on this, I have a nice little cubby right there. The intake is temporary. It was a last minute thing for the show because the parts that we ordered to make the intake didn't show up. But we kind of slapped that together. It's a little ugly, don't judge it. But yeah, so that's gonna change a little bit. And then, like I said, I got that little cubby hole in that corner, and that's where I stand when I got to work on some stuff. And we did a little bit of working on some stuff on Saturday and Sunday when we were trying to come in, because you know how the last minute stuff goes.
Yeah,
Nobody's perfect, and I'm very, very not perfect. So
obviously the full truck's carbon fiber. So we talked before this, and you haven't weighed this yet. But if you had to guess approximately, you know where the weight's around?
I want it to. I want to say it's under 3,000 pounds. I'm thinking like high twos.
Okay.
28, 29-ish. I don't know.
It's still insanely light.
Yeah, very light. Yeah. Put me in it, and then it goes up a little bit, but a lot of it.
So what are we looking at powertrain wise? This looks like a Coyote based motor.
It's they call it the VooDoo.
So it's the 5.2.
It's the 5.2. I don't like that term because it seems kind of negative, but yeah. So it's a 5.2 out of a 2020 GT350R. We got everything. I would like to say that, oh, we got all fancy and bought everything from Ford and it's all brand new. We got a pallet of parts out of a wrecked GT350R. Our buddies at Cleveland Power and Performance hooked us up with a pallet with every single piece out of that Mustang and wire harness and everything. If you go back on our YouTube, we had in one of the videos, we started the motor on the pallet. So every piece you need to basically make this thing a Mustang that doesn't look like a Mustang. So motor, obviously we just did trans because we did the transaxle, but all the harness and everything, all the fuse boxes, and then we'll get more into it in the interior with some of that stuff, but everything from that Mustang got stuffed into this truck.
Very cool. And then looking at the motor, so the GT350 would have been rated at 526 horsepower, naturally aspirated flat plane crank motor, so this thing will sound wicked under load.
I would love to start it for you guys, but I got threatened to be kicked out of SEMA yesterday because I started it for someone.
Yeah, got to follow the rules that regard, so we won't worry about that. But I also see that you actually have an AC compressor on there still, right? So it's AC in the truck?
all factory Mustang AC parts. Everything's factory, yeah. Factory brake booster, factory steering rack, everything's factory.
Okay, and so we mentioned transaxle because we had to get rid of the Tremec from the GT350. So what are you running there for the transmission?
It's a Hollinger transaxle.
Okay, and how many speeds?
6 speed.
6 speed, right on. Okay, very cool. All right, with that, let's go ahead and take a look at the interior.
Sure. So yeah, back to like what I was saying about the Mustang stuff. Don't mind the mess. We still have to finish it off again.
Work in progress.
Another SEMA thing. But yeah, so we did a custom dash. Steering column, everything, that's all out of the Mustang. The gauge cluster and everything out of the Mustang. We custom fit that to the F100 dash, the center stack with the radio and everything that we didn't take the time to even dust off because we suck, is also in there. Everything works. It's going to be all your stock controls, all the stock Mustang that you could see because we didn't cover it yet. AC stuff is all in there. Everything like battery and fuse box wise is right under that giant center console that we made.
So it's easy to access that.
It's easy to access, especially when you're driving in and you have a little issue and you have to start playing with fuses. You can do it while you drive because I have some experience in that. So yeah, all Mustang stuff. We did some Carbu. I don't know how to say it.
You got me beat.
Yeah, something like that. Seats, and we just had them rewrapped. We rewrapped a bunch of stuff. It has the roll bar that goes through the cab and then into the front. That's all wrapped in suede. We did a suede wrap dash pad. There's that's the shifter. We got a marching band. I think this is like my celebration that we finished the truck. They're doing a marching band for me. No, but yeah, so yeah, we tried to, whenever we do a classic, we try to keep all the features of the newer vehicle that we use the motor from.
All right, so there we go. That's a quick walk around of your crazy carbon fiber mid-engine GT350 powered. So that's a flat plane crank over 500 horsepower and a truck that weighs somewhere in the neighborhood of around 3,000 pounds, hopefully less, right?
Yes. You're kind of breaking my heart a little bit. I thought it was like 650-ish. I didn't know it was only 5 something.
Well, see, but it's 526, naturally aspirated, and it revs all the way out.
Yeah,
that is a beautiful motor.
She's a rever. She's definitely a rever.
The GT350 is a very special vehicle. So this is an awesome build. Do you have any final thoughts? Like, what's the best place for people to find you, get in touch with you for future builds?
Yeah, so the place where I kind of post everything most is my kind of personal shop Instagram, which is 612_Danny. We have a YouTube channel. It's 612 Autoworx. We've been posting there, trying to post there more often. We've been posting a bit of this. We just dropped a video last night on this, and kind of us finishing it up. And then other than that, I guess, you know, if you want to reach out for a build, you could, you know, find our email on the website or give us a call, or best thing is just send me an Instagram message. I see those, you know, probably fastest.
All right, cool. Well, thank you very much, Danny, for the walk around of the video. Obviously,
Absolutely.
You've got 3 vehicles here at SEMA total. We'll have to check out while we're here.
Yeah. So we got this, and we have 2 of our Hellcat Challenger CUDA body conversions, a convertible, the first one we made, and a hardtop.
Very cool. Very cool. So there you have it, guys. That is a quick look at this crazy, crazy truck built by Danny here. Be sure to check out all of his videos as he posts regularly on social media, all sorts of content. So if you want the behind the scenes look, that's the best way to find it.
Absolutely. Yep. We got stories all the time of the nonsense that goes on in the shop. It's fun to see.
Perfect. So with that, that is the end of the video. If you could leave me a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. Consider getting subscribed for more content like this in the future. And of course, thank you so much for watching.